We'll wait for 2 more minutes again because she is joining.
Okay.
Yeah, do you have any idea about emergency access management? Why we need to use it?
Yes, this is being used for provisioning elevated access, so that because all the access or transactions are not possible to assign to any user. So in case of
Correct.
any user or personal need the means access, then it can be given for a stipulated time period under a particular monitoring logs, for which the logs will generate and later it will be reviewed. So that is why it is being used.
Super.
The
Yes. So actually, in real time, if you have this, if you don't have this emergency access management concept, normally see whenever you do any month-end activities or year-end activities, for financial creations, financial deposits and all. So at that time, normally users need to have this SAP all and SAP new. So in that cases, if we don't have this EAM, we are providing SAP all and SAP new profiles. So if you provide that, it's really difficult for auditors to find out which transactions this guy has executed. Because we will take an approval from our managers. We'll be having the proper approvals to assign this SAP all and SAP new. But when auditor comes to our company, for him, it's really difficult to find, okay, you have provided SAP all, SAP new, but which transaction this guy has executed and all, it's really difficult because in our system, normally, there is a data load file, so which captures the transaction uses of users. So that's only for 3 months. Normally, basis team will not keep those files more than 3 months in the system. So they'll keep only for 3 months or 4 months time. After that, these files will not be available in the system. They will be archived in backend system, but to get the archived data from the OS level, it's really a tough job for basis consultants. I mean, it's really difficult. So for auditors, whenever they want to find any information like this, what kind of transaction this guy has executed with the help of SAP all and SAP new, it was really a tough job for them. And also sometimes these guys will need an approval. This guy need access. So to provide that, we need approvals, right? So if the guys normally perform this kind of activities only on weekends, but weekends business will not be available and business managers will not be available. So to get the approvals, it's really a tough time. Will not get the approvals. Hi Malini.
Hi Krishna.
Yeah, hi. So and also, yeah, as I told you, if you provide the SAP all and SAP new, it's really tough to track the transactions. What kind of transaction this guy has executed in the system, whether he has executed the required transactions in the system or not. Okay. And also if you provide SAP all and SAP new profiles, it's really tough to maintain the validity dates, because for profiles we can't maintain any validity dates. For only roles you can maintain the validity dates, but profiles you cannot maintain. And also, for example, if you want to do that, for example, there is a system down. The data is about to reach the maximum size. So they need to do some urgent activities with the system. They need SAP all and SAP new access. So if you want to provide this access immediately, like within 5 minutes or 10 minutes, it is really not possible. And also if you provide SAP all and SAP new, whatever activities they want to do, they will do it anyways, but apart from that they will get lot of access. So they can do any other activities also. If they want to do, they will do it. For example, if they want to unlock their accounts or if they want to reset their passwords and all, they'll do it. You'll not be able to find it. So it's really tough. it's really difficult, or if really we should not provide SAP all and SAP new access to any users in the real time, but we don't have any option till this point. But this emergency access management will really provide a good, you know, uh, tracking system. Like whenever you provide any access to business users or any users, you can track it like anything. Like for example, what kind of transaction the user has used, and when they have executed this transaction, at what level they have executed this transaction, like whether they have changed any data or whether they have created any data or they deleted any data in the system. Those kind of information also you will get it. But initial days, if you want to get this information, you have options in the system. I'm not saying that you don't have any options, but you have options to get this kind of data. You have transactions like ST03N, SM19, SM20, ST05. These transactions are there. With the help of this transaction, you can get the required data, but the amount of time that you are spending to get this data, it's really high when you compare to EAM logs. So what this EAM logs will do, whenever any user logged in with a firefighter ID, before logging itself, he need to select the reason code and he need to give a description like what kind of transaction is going to use in the system. Apart from that, if we use any other transaction, immediately a mail will be triggered to the controllers. So then controller will be notified prior that the business user is using the transaction. So then he can question the business user, why are you using this transaction? It can stop him, actually. It can stop the business user to use a particular transaction. Getting it? And also the approval process. The approval process is very streamlined. Like we just need to, that if any business user need any access, not business user, if any user need access to do certain activities in the system which he is not authorized, what he'll do, he normally just writes one form, firefighter form, then it will be routed for approvals, firefighter owner, and once he approved it, that's it. It will come to us and we can provide the access immediately. They no need to wait for business approvals and all, because business approvals is not required now. We just need to take an approval from the firefighter owner. The firefighter owner will be from our team or from the business. If it is from business also, there is an other option that and firefighter administrator can approve that request by just taking a phone approval. So the approval process is also very streamlined, so we can take the approvals within minutes and we can provide the access to the user. And also for each and everything you can put the validity date. For example, if you are assigning profile or if you are assigning role also, you can put the validity dates to the firefighter. So that is why, which is this, and emergency access management is the most advisable module in GRC. So whenever any company want to go with GRC, they will definitely opt this emergency access management. Okay, to streamline their access processes, they will opt this. So in this, we have to use it very carefully, this emergency access management, because we should not provide this emergency access management for daily business tasks and non-sensitive tasks or displaying sensitive reports. We should not provide access to, if business user want to access these kind of things like daily business tasks. For daily business tasks, you should not provide firefighter. You should update your roles accordingly, because that's a daily activity that user will do. But daily activities we should not provide the firefighter. So this is actually an inappropriate uses. And also non-sensitive tasks. If you feel this task the business user is doing particular task like displaying a user. Displaying a user is not at all a sensitive task. So for this kind of tasks, you should not provide the firefighter ID, because if he will say like, I am unable to access some SU01D, then in that case you should find an appropriate role and provide. That's it, because that's a non-sensitive data is accessing. If you provide firefighter to access SU01D, which is of really waste, and also displaying sensitive reports. There are sensitive reports in your system. If they want to display it, then it's no worries, because they are just displaying. They'll not do any changes and all. So for displaying sensitive reports and all, don't try to create any firefighter IDs for that. Okay. If you want to create firefighter IDs, you have to create it for the high and priority purposes only. Like see, month-end activities, year-end activities, financial closes, and the purchase order remediations and all. But those things you have to create the firefighter IDs, but not for the every activity that business users will perform. It's really not suggestible. Okay, for example, some users will say, I want to access one table and I need to have access to SE16. So it's really not correct if you provide firefighter access to access SE16, which is an inappropriate uses. What you have to do, SE16 is a display transaction, so you can provide it in a role and that role can be assigned to the user. So why I'm saying this is you can think like, okay, firefighter option is there. So if like for example SE16 and SU01D, these are not critical transaction, but you feel like these are critical because they can access the tables. But if you go to the ground reality, SU01D, that's only a display transaction. With displaying, they'll not be able to do anything. Like the same for SE16, they'll not be able to do anything. Guys, you might be knowing that with SE16 also, they can edit some of the tables. SE16 is a display transaction, but if they use one command in SE16, they can modify the tables. But that option is not available in the recent versions, Enhancement Pack 6. But till Enhancement Pack 5 and Enhancement Pack 4, we have that flexibility. Like users can edit programs, user can edit tables with the help of SE16. Okay, so you should be very careful when you are creating the firefighters also. You have to define a particular usage and then only you create the firefighter IDs. For each and every reason, you should not create the firefighter IDs and you should not assign that firefighter ID to the business users or any users. So when you are using a firefighter IDs, you should be very careful and you need to define the uses of it. So what kind of really challenges you will face when you are creating emergency access management? When you are developing emergency access management in the system for the first time, you will face some challenges, guys, really, because if it is well developed in the system, then it is okay. Just providing firefighter ID, it's not a big task. But analyzing the purpose, analyzing the uses of the firefighter, analyzing the uses, and then creating a firefighter is a really tough job, because you need to analyze the business process first. For example, if that is FICO, you need to understand what kind of activities this FICO consultant will perform in the system and what activities are very critical according to business and what kind of activities they should not have in their daily usage roles. So you need to dig down into the roles and into the process area and find out which are the critical accesses we should not provide, and then provide the access, and then define the access, and then create a firefighter ID. And also you need to identify the uses of the firefighter IDs. Like if any user want to access a firefighter ID, you need to define what kind of approval process you have to follow, and whom can we assign these firefighter IDs, whether there should be any level perspective or any uses perspective. Like see, there will be some fresher guys joining the organization, they'll request for access. Then in that case, you need to check with his manager. This guy is recently joined the organization and he want to use his firefighter ID. Do you want me to really provide this access? Anyways, that request will go to his manager for approval, firefighter owner, but you need to inform him clearly that. But how will you know that that user is a fresher or is joined long back? So that thing, you can really get it with the help of the roles that are assigned to this particular user. Because whenever you join the organization, no one will assign the critical roles to the users. They will assign very less access. For example, if I'm a security consultant, I've joined the company, then they'll not assign immediately PFCC access to me. They'll just give me development and quality access. In the development and quality also, they'll provide just user administration access. So like this, I mean, you have to analyze that and you have to inform the manager, boss, this guy is requesting the firefighter access. This is the access he is requesting, which normally will perform by the experienced consultants. Do you want me to provide that access or not? This is also, I mean, when you are creating the firefighters, guys, when you are creating the firefighters, in this way also you have to think of it. If any less experienced guy is requesting the firefighter access, then what kind of access you can give and what kind of firefighter IDs we can create for them. Okay, and also if the senior person is requesting access, so what kind of access we should update in those firefighters. So you have to think in that way and you have to create it. So what to say you is, for a firefighter will be created for every business process area. Don't assign SAP all and SAP new directly to firefighters. Never assign that. If you assign SAP all and SAP new to fire, really no use guys of implementing the firefighter concept. So you have to dig into the process and you have to understand the critical transactions in the business process, and then you need to define, okay, this access I will be updated in this firefighter. So you have to plan accordingly. That is what my point. And also when you are creating the firefighters, you need to identify the controllers and owners also. When you are identifying the controllers and owners, you should identify like, okay, I am making this person as a owner. So if you are making a person as a owner, that means you are defined like, okay, this guy is having complete knowledge on that particular business process, and this guy knows all the persons who are working under that business process. Because whenever any guy from that particular team has requested the firefighter access, it will go to the owner for approval. So whenever that request go to owner for approval, he should analyze it like, who has requested this and what kind of access this guy is requesting, whether normally this guy will perform this kind of activities in the system or not. If he feels everything correct, then only he should approve it. So that means he should have a proper knowledge on his team and as well as the particular business process area. So when you are making a person as an owner, you should check whether this person can really manage the firefighter IDs or not. And also controller. Controller should have the complete knowledge on the business process area, and he should understand the uses of firefighters. Like if you create a firefighter, he should know that what kind of transactions are present in this firefighter and what is the reason code that this guy has given before using the firefighter, whether this guy is accessing the same transactions that are updated in the description or any other transaction. If he is accessing any other transaction, then he should question that guy, why are you using these transactions which are not related to your work now. So in that way, this controller should also have very good knowledge on business process areas. Okay, and also after creating the firefighter IDs and all, once you are assigning firefighter IDs, there will be a lot of logs will be generated, guys. Okay, there will be a lot of logs. So in that case, you have to plan with basis team. How can you archive the firefighter logs? How can you plan? You have to plan with the basis guys. How can we archive the firefighter logs in the system? In which table the archived logs will be saved in the system? In which table? And all you have to know. And also you have to check the performance. If these guys are using this kind of firefighters, there will be a lot of logs and everything will be stored in the system. So what will be the performance of the system? Because in firefighter we have two types of concepts, centralized and decentralized. So if you are using centralized firefighter, you definitely you need to check with the performance. Getting it? Okay. So this is the actual uses of firefighters. So if you have any doubts, you can ask me now, because I'm going ahead with the configurations.
No doubt, it's fine. You can continue for the companies.
Okay guys, thank you. So you need to understand one more thing guys. Normally firefighter, normally we call it as firefighter, right? Emergency access management. In this we normally call it as firefighter. So in this firefighters we have two types of concepts. So the first one is centralized and the second one is decentralized. Okay, so in 10.1 only we have these two concepts, 10.0 and 10.1. Both the concepts are available in 10.0 and 10.1. But in 5.3, when it comes to 5.3, it's completely a decentralized firefighter. It's not centralized one. It's completely a decentralized one. But then when it comes to 10.0 and 10.1, we have both, either centralized or decentralized. Whatever you want, you can use it. You need to understand what is the main difference between centralized and decentralized. So centralized firefighter is nothing but will create all the users in GRC system. From GRC system, these guys will access the backend system and they'll perform the activities. Okay, GRC will be the central system, will create all firefighters and owners, controllers, everyone in GRC system. Only firefighter IDs will be set up in backend system. So whosoever want to access a firefighter, first he should log into GRC system. From GRC system, he will access the backend system, and there he will perform the activities. So the advantage of central, central firefighting is like logs will be stored in the system, in the GRC system itself. There will not be any distractions. Like if the RFC connection fails, sometimes the logs will not be populated in GRC system. But now since this guy is logging from GRC system, there will not be any distractions. But the disadvantage I can see is there is an emergency activity that this guy has to perform in the R3 system. But unfortunately, the GRC system is down. If the GRC system is down, that's it. Then he'll not be able to perform anything in the backend system, since that is a centralized firefighting. He'll not be able to log into the system itself. So that's the disadvantage I can see. And advantages I told you already. Centralized firefighting, what we have to do is we'll be creating firefighter IDs and firefighters in the backend system, and controllers and owners, it's your wish whether you can create it in the backend system or you can create it in GRC system. But firefighter administrator, that means security consultants, will provide firefighter access to that guy in from GRC system. Once they provided the access, they will give the password to that guy. Then he will log in the backend system directly. It's not required for him to log into GRC system. He will log into the backend system directly, and he'll perform the activity. The logs will be generated and the logs will be sent to GRC system with the help of RFC connection and a background job.
Oh no. Fuck, man.
Okay, just a second. Just give me a minute. I'll just drink water.